10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for everyone to sit back, relax, chill out. It's time for Shooting the Shit Uncensored with your host, the bald, the beard, the fucking beautiful dad bod god himself, me, Piers Austin. And tonight I have an amazing guest I'm about to bring out. He's a guest I've wanted to have on for a very long time, and he's actually wanted to be on for a very long time, so it's all worked out, and he's finally here, Kid Valiant. But before I bring out my guest, Mr. Kid Valiant, I want to take a quick pause for the cause, if you will, to thank some of those amazing sponsors that help us keep this show running, help us keep the lights on up in this bitch. First up is healthvape.com. Now, Health Vape is your healthy vaping alternative, ladies and gentlemen. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they are vitamin infused, guys. So if you want to live a healthier lifestyle, get off those cigarettes, kick that vape. I've got these health vapes coming. I've been having them coming for a while, but due to COVID, the restrictions, so I'm still waiting for them to come in. Guys, this is your step to a healthier lifestyle. So check out healthvape.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Next up, we have sleefs.com. Now, Sleefs is your one-stop shop for all of your athletic wear. It's got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, mouth guards, boots, even dirty boxes. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. They sent me a box of these dirty boxes. I threw out all my other boxes, and I'm going to see how many times I can say boxes in one sentence before I start pissing people off. Boxes. Anyway, so guys, these boxes are the most comfortable ones I've ever owned. I'm an active guy. I hit the gym every day. I'm running around after my kids. These boxes stay dry. They stay fresh. They stay amazing. So make sure you check out sleeps.com. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, also here at the MWA Podcast Network, we've got you covered during Christmas. Shows are going to drop as normal times. We're going to have shows pre-recorded for you for the Funkin' Kingpin show and Killing the Business this coming week. But, make sure you tune in for those. That's Get Funked, hosted by Alan Kiwi Funk, which is going to be dropping tomorrow. Then we have the Funkin' Kingpin show. We've got NXT Roundup. We've got Killing the Business. We got Nights at the Gimmick Table. We got Wrestling with Sports. Guys, check it out wherever you're finding us. Like, share, subscribe. If you're listening to us on any podcast platform, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating, please. But guys, without further ado, I'm going to bring out my guest of this evening, Mr. Kid Valiant. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming. I'm so excited to be here, bro. Honestly.
Mate, I'm excited to have you here, man. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. As I said, I've wanted to have you on for a while. And and you've wanted to be on as well. So 100%. It's great that we can actually get you on here. So, and we got a few people already putting some comments in there saying Kid Valiant is a hottie. So, 5-star.
I agree. What's going on, Fivey? What's going on, everyone? How is everybody tonight?
We're all good, man. We're all good. But, dude, you know what? It was actually good to catch up with you in person when you were down in Sydney at the FWA show.
Oh, bro. It was so good meeting you in person, man. Like, I thought you were from Perth the first time we talked.
Really?
I got a feeling. I was watching I think it was Smack's episode on here, and then I had a feeling you were from Perth, and then when I found out you were from Sydney, I was like, oh, you're closer than I thought, and I was like, ah, cool. So I get to meet this guy. This is gonna be fucking sick.
Yeah, man, it was great. And to work the same show as well. It was
Oh,
an
it's
amazing
crazy,
time
man.
to get to call you a match as well. I had a lot of fun with it, and really enjoyed your style of wrestling as well, man. And I've seen a fair bit of your stuff, and I really get into it. I really enjoyed the work you've done at Deathmatch Down Under so far, and the unmasking as well, man, which is kind of like coming into your own as a performer now.
Yeah, man. The unmasking was a long time coming. I'm gonna say. I've been wrestling for 2 years, so I've been wrestling since I was 16. The only way to enter the business, the promoters were saying, was to wear a mask. So I went on with it. From there, Kid Valiant was born. Kid Valiant went on NAW, Premier Pro Wrestling, Six Below, Deathmatch Down Under. And unfortunately, I pissed off a guy called Jake Navarra, where I train at the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling. Unfortunately, he reckons I was disrespecting him by wearing the mask, blah, blah, blah. We had the whole feud kick off from there. And then in Ballarat, took the pin, and then I had to unmask, and it's a fresh start. The era of the psychedelics over, the trip's gone. Just got a clean slate, fresh start, and I can't wait to see where the journey kicks on from here, man.
Do you, like? Why do you think that they wanted to put you on under a mask? Is it because it was obviously 16? You would have looked really young. But
Yeah,
like,
100%.
was it also to protect you as well? Because like, if you're going to have a long career in here, it gives you a time to develop and perform in front of a crowd under a hood.
Okay, so if you think I'm small now, you could have imagined what I looked like at 16. So I really do think it was a matter of protection, not from the promoter's standpoint, but from a lot of other people like Jason Cole, Smacks, and a lot of other people from NAW who are very close to me. So it was more, look, you're 16, you're a young kid, yet you have acne, you're like still developing, and like we want to make sure you're not in jeopardy, and we're not going to try to trash on anyone because hey, you're beating up a kid, you can't really do that, and to make it more believable for my size, like I believe that's why they put the mask on me. Like at first, I hated it. I hated the mask. Every show backstage was like, "Can I take it off yet?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Can I take it off?" No. And then when I got approached about this whole storyline with Jake, I was like so relieved. All the stress and all the pressure was off my shoulders. I was like, I could finally do something where I can be creative. I can do wrestling as well as finally take something off that was like hiding my true self in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like even like in wrestling, they say like the facial expressions, the way of selling and stuff like that. Did you find it hard to like express yourself in the ring with your face covered up?
Oh, 100%, because believe it or not, I did acting like throughout my whole life. I'm a theater kid through and through, and I'm going to get bullied by Rochelle Rogue. Thank you. So the ability to act with facial expressions and like to show pain, anger, or sadness, and like have that hidden away from people was kind of like a letdown. So I was starting up on people like Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara to like really exaggerate my body, which I didn't do in most scenarios. I was always looking down. I was not looking at the camera or the crowd properly. And now to have the mask off and now having the ability to actually sell out to people, whether that may be next year or whenever my first match it may be, is going to be a challenge. It's going to be different because I've never had the ability to do that. I've never been able to show that I'm up in pain or like I'm hurt. It's always been hidden. And so people, I hope, are going to be very surprised on how I sell, or it'll be like memorized, or like think I'm attractive. I don't know. You never know, man. Like,
I think, man, like, being under that mask and learning to sell like actual like, body emotion, you know what I mean? Like your body movement and, the body language of, selling and stuff like that. It's probably going to accentuate your career more than anything, really.
Yeah, bro. It was very theatric. Like if you work in the arm, you got to really exaggerate it because you can't show it with your face. You got to show it with your body. So it was a tough thing to do, but I pushed through it for the past 2 years and I handled it quite well. So now It's just the fact that I have to sell with my face now, and I have to sell up rather than sell down because the mask is gone.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
But you mentioned your trainer, so and starting at 16 years of age. So you started at Relentless?
No, so originally I started at the Hitman George Julio's gym in a little backyard in the western suburbs of Melbourne.
Yeah.
My first couple of sessions were under Tyson Baxter and Jet Ruka.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was like, all my fundamentals, my lockups, my arm drags, all my bumps were like mint. So like my third session was like, all right, you're doing Harakaranas now, you're doing cross bodies, you're doing satellite DDTs. So
Jesus.
all the high flying stuff came from them. And then I took a hiatus because my grades and just my behavior in general at school was slipping up. So I took a break, came back to NAW, and Jason the Crusher Cole and Jeremy Smacks, they really solidified the fundamentals in me. They really gave me the base on where I can perform, and they got me match ready. So without them, Kid Valiant wouldn't be here. So my OG trainer was Jason Cole, and then Relentless came by last year. I was in their first batch of intakes, and I've been training there ever since because what they're doing there is great. They're producing some of the best talent. You got BDE, you got one of my close mates, Billy Wright, who's going to up and debut soon. You got Will Walker, who trains there. You got a bunch of other people that you may see on future shows and everything. And like, Relentless is the place to train right now.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's great. They're so much knowledge. Like, it's so good.
It's actually good to see like quality of like training facilities now popping up, like in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide. Like for someone like yourself, like have you ever thought like further on down the track that training people would be something that you would want to do?
I don't know, because I don't think I'm a good teacher. Like, I've had this within school and like just acting in general, where I had to like teach people how to do certain things, and I don't think I'm fit for the job. But I'm willing to teach people high flying and give them advice. But wrestling training, it's not my thing. I don't think I'm going to. Maybe when I'm much older and much more experienced, I could do seminars. But like as of right now, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and get in there. And
I like it when you're much older, brother. Let's go.
Brother.
But yeah, man, I think as well, like being so young, in the business and coming in at a teenager level, like how did your parents take to it? Were they like, yeah, well, this has been like you since you were like 5 years old, so no wonder you like want to do it now?
Yeah, so my dad did backyard wrestling, and so practically as soon as I was born, I was introduced to WWE, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, all the high flyers. I was like, I want to be like them. And ever since a young age, I used to call up my pop on the phone. I'm like, I'm going to be in Japan. I'm going to be wrestling this guy at this state. And like, I was just making up shit in my head.
Yeah.
But wrestling has always been something I wanted to do. So when the opportunity came along to train, my parents were like, supported me. Like, they signed me up. They signed the waiver form because I was still underage. But they've been nothing but supportive. They're honestly my rock. Like, without them, I probably wouldn't even be on here or just doing the things I love to do. So I'm glad I have that supportive base. I'm glad to have parents that really care about my dream and passion. I'm sure they can be a bit hard on it sometimes, but without them, Kid Valiant wouldn't be where he is right now.
Oh, absolutely, man. I think as well, like, as you're a young guy, especially in your teenage years, you think your parents are out to get you, man. But once you get to my age and you have kids and even a little bit older, you look back and go, yeah, they were doing the right thing. But you mentioned your dad being a backyarder, dude. Like, have you seen any footage of your dad?
Not yet, but it wasn't like serious where he goes to wrestle this place. It was just in the backyard of my mum's place where we live now, when it was a smaller house. So he used to just like jump off the roofs, he was telling me. He used to just bump on like little pads and everything. I was like, that's crazy. So it would be sick to see footage. There's footage somewhere. We just need a VCR player. And unfortunately, we don't have one. Without him, I wouldn't have liked wrestling. So thank you, Dad.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Valiant. But as far as like wrestling, what drew you into it though? Like, was there a particular match or was there a particular performer that just sort of like attracted you to it, or was it like the whole? As you said, you're a theater kid, so was it the whole theatrics that really caught your eye?
See, the theater stuff didn't come until I was like maybe 8. I was more into the real life, superheroes. You guys like Jeff Hardy, like Rey Mysterio, like seeing Rey Mysterio, like him up against big dudes. Like I was like, I want to be like him. I want to be quick. I want to be agile. I want to do all the cool stuff. Like the same as Jeff Hardy. I want to be the high flyer. I want to be the daredevil. I want to be remembered.
Yeah.
So seeing real life superheroes and like realizing I can actually do this one day is what drew me. And like I now have kids looking up to me. I'm like, and it's crazy. Like I never thought I would have that. And, like it's crazy.
It's nuts, man, because like the way that you can impact someone's life from just like them being in a show and you might not even know that they're there or who they are or whatever. And then like after like the second or third show, this kid comes up to you and says that to you. I can bet that's a very humbling experience,
It really is. Like the first time someone come up to me was like, can I take a picture? And I was like, I'm a nobody. Like, why do you want a picture with me? Like you have all these other guys who are well established where you want a picture with me. So it was a weird experience, but yet humbling. Like I never thought I'd have the platform where I have heaps of supporters and just people who would follow me along this journey. So it's quite a humbling experience, and I just love it so much. Words can't express how much I love it.
And like, when you set out to start training in pro wrestling, was there a specific, like, did you sit there and go, you know what, I want to train here for an X amount of time, then I want to go overseas, or I want to do this, I want to do that? Like, did you have goals set out for yourself, or were you just like, you know what, let's just start and see where we go?
So the original plan for me was the only wrestling school I knew of was PCW, but that was on the eastern side of Melbourne. So it's like an hour and a half drive from my house. So to get there every night. So I was like really considering, and then I got offered to wrestle 15 minutes from my house. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, of course I'm going to take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also have goals in mind. I eventually want to do the Farley Dojo. I want to, where else I want to go? Black and Brave, I believe, Seth Rollins Academy. But when I was younger, I was like, I just want to train. Like, that's all I cared about. And then when I heard MCW was starting up academy, I was like, I want to go there too. But then they changed the rules to like, you got to be 18 to train. I was like, So, it's been a journey. I've been considering a lot of things, but from now, I do have goals in mind. Like I said, the Fight Lay Dojo, that's a big one that I want to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens, man.
Do you think, like you said, MCW, you have to be 18 to train there? Do you think that that's a pretty fair rule? Like for people to come in, they should be like 18 years of age. Like you starting at 16, do you think that you missed out on something, or do you think that it was like, do you see any negatives from starting at a young age, or do you see it more as a positive?
My back's cooked. Starting at 16, like my body is sore like all the time. So train at 16. I feel like you should be able to train at 16, but I feel like shows should be you start at 18. Like fortunately enough for me, I had the mask, which covered up and made things a lot more believable. Where as kids growing up now, they're like, oh, I don't want to wrestle a mask. I want to do my own thing. I want to have my own, like every own flair, own style. Just honestly, train at 16, shows for 18. That's how I see it. And I feel like a lot of other people would do it too, because like they protected me. They had to put a mask on me. So I do get why people are like, oh, you got to wrestle 18 in this show. Like Deathmatch Down Under, there's a wellness policy where you have to be 18 to be on shows. And I agree with that. I feel like you should have to be legal to do it, because like you're not putting your body on the line, but you're putting them in jeopardy too, because you are a kid. With training, it's different.
Also, Deathmatch Down Under doing that as well, where they've got, actual
death matches
as well. And like, some people, it can be very confronting to some people, seeing
it can
that.
Be.
So, I think it's a very wise decision.
100%. Like, fun fact, the first time I was at a Deathmatch Down Under show, I hated Deathmatch. Like, not hate's a strong word. Like, I disliked it. I was never like into it. I was like very intimidated and very scared by it. But being in that environment and being around the people of like DMDU and like getting to see more death matches live and like really appreciate it makes me want to do one. So deathmatch is definitely on my list. It was originally supposed to happen in Ballarat. I got called out, but unfortunately, I suffered from an anxiety attack. Shit happens. I wasn't in the headspace for it, but it presented another opportunity for someone else, which they took, and they've skyrocketed from there. And good on them, because if an opportunity arises, you definitely take it.
Yeah.
So DMDU has been nothing but supportive about that all. Death matches are intimidating thing. Like, I had a friend who wanted to go to a show, and I was like, look at the pictures, look at this before you want to go, because she was scared of blood, and she took a look back and she's like, I don't get how you go there. So, like you said, the intimidation factor is really there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And like I enjoy some deathmatch wrestling, and stuff like that. But I think it's the way that it's presented as well. Like, I think DMDU does it in a really good way. Yeah, the matches make sense. It's not just like people walking around like
Slitting.
like just kicking themselves. And I've seen that like on certain shows I've watched, like guys literally walking around the room just like cutting themselves. And it's like, what the fuck is, you know what I mean? Like,
what's the
that?
point?
And
yeah,
exactly. Where like DMDU, the matches make sense. And I think as well, being that it is a very accepting space and, protective as well for the workers and fans.
100%. Like, entering the match with Jake, I knew for a while I was going to gig. So, but I wanted it to make sense. So, like, I don't want to go in there and just like straight away. I want to make it seem as real as possible, like as any match. And like having the story arc that we had and presenting the idea to Jake was so easy to work with. I was like, look, I want to do this in order to bleed. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And like, we made it make sense. We told a story. We unfortunately didn't get the color that we both wanted, but shit happens. Like, same with the other death matches. Like, you don't see a guy walk in there straight away, enter the ring, cut. No, you see them get belted by like thousands of light tubes. And like, you need to make it all make sense. It's with any match in general. But like, blood's a big thing. Like, you don't go around slicing your head up. Like,
no, absolutely not. I think and that's the main thing of when they do it, to have it make sense, have it, like, and I see someone like, Matt Tremont, for example, when he does a death match, it's like, it's not just straight away into thumbtacks, into, the gimmicks. It's like a little bit of chain wrestling, technical side of stuff, and then slowly incorporate the stuff and build layers upon layers. You know what I mean? Like, each spot gets bigger and bigger and bigger in the match, and then you have the blow off spot, which ends the match, and it makes sense.
100%. That's why I love Mad Dog matches, because he incorporates wrestling before introducing the weapons. Like, you have to have some sort of element of professional wrestling rather than weapons, because anyone can see a light tube get smacked over someone. But if you tell a story to get to that point, you get a bigger reaction.
Oh, 100%, man. I completely agree. And that's where I think DMDU sort of performs at that sort of level. It's not straight away, here's all the shit, jump in there and do it. And I think as well, deathmatch wrestling does get a very bad rap for the sense that it does look so violent and bloody. Yeah. But and I think I've said this before as well. But what's pro wrestling? It's an illusion, really. It's a violent illusion in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really trying to kill the person you're in the ring with.
No, you're there to protect them. Like, deathmatch wrestling, yes, it sucks. Yes, like, everything's real, but like, you're there to protect each other. Like, if you're there ringside, you can see, like, they're making sure they're okay. They're constantly checking up on each other. They're making sure they're safe. Like, the shit they do hurts, but they're not trying to actually kill each other. And that's, like, I get why not DMDU, death matches in general get a bad rep, because, it's super violent. It's like over the top. You're actually there to kill each other. No, it's controlled death. That's the best I can say. It's just controlled death.
Yeah, but I think if you take the word death out of deathmatch and call it something else, you know what I mean? Like, replace that word with something else. I think it wouldn't even I don't think it would get half the negative connotation that it does.
It's like a no DQ match or a hardcore match. Like, what's the difference there? Well, a few pieces of glass and a bit more. Like, there's no difference really.
Exactly. Call it whatever. Call it a hardcore match, and
exactly.
But I think there is differences to it. Like, a hardcore match is a certain thing with ladders and shit like that. Then it amps up and up from deathmatch, ultra violent. Like, I watched a deathmatch from a show over in the United States where this fucker actually cut off the tip of his finger in the match.
Yeah, was that this year?
Yeah, that was
It's like all over Twitter. Yeah.
IWA Deep South Carnage Cup, and I'm just like, bro, like I'm sitting there, like it didn't even make sense. Like he's sitting there, and the guy who's like with the fucking pliers is like, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I really want to do it. And he's like, yeah, do it. Like you're gonna hear him have the conversation in the ring. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's why death matches get such a bad rap, because you get idiots like that doing over the top stuff, and like it's dangerous. Like why?
But you know what? Even Tommy Dreamer turned around and said he would have shot himself on national TV.
Yeah, that is
like,
true.
You know what I mean? But it is dangerous. But I think it's the level of what people are going to go to, and sad to say, to get over. You know what I mean?
Slicing your fingers not it. Like, oh
yeah,
I could only
nah,
imagine
bro,
how that felt.
I'd be like, nah, bro, I'm good, eh? The other guy over, nah, he deserves it more. Fuck him.
No, fuck that. Nah, man.
But you know, being a young guy in the industry, have you ever had guys, you know, try and take advantage of you in the ring, like whether they just get a little bit heavy-handed? Has that ever happened to you in the business, or have you been pretty lucky in that sense?
But I feel like I have been. Everyone I've been in the ring with, they've been completely safe. They look after me. They make sure I'm okay. So I've been fairly lucky from where I was. Like, started, like, I heard bad things like, oh, this person is going to do this to you, or blah, blah, blah. But nothing has happened to me. Like, I've been kept safe. They treated me well and respectful. Like, I've been extremely lucky. Like, I know a lot of other people have it hard, but me personally, like everyone I've ever interacted with or had a match with have been the kindest people.
Yeah. I think that's the time and the generation now of professional wrestling, where it's not like that old school way of like, oh, the new guy, this guy's coming up, he's just going to take it, and that's the way it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how it used to be, from what I've been told. You know, it's and I think that's probably a good thing that it's changed, because you're going to see a lot more talented people stick around in the business of professional wrestling than sort of go, fuck this.
Like, it's bullying them out of wrestling almost too. Like, they're going to expect that every match they walk into. Like, the more you give it to them, the more you lay it into them, they're going to be like intimidated or scared to even go out that curtain. So thankfully it hasn't happened to me.
Yeah. Or they're going to go out there and do it to someone and really hurt someone.
Exactly. And like, it works both ways. Like you said, they will go in there and be like, oh, I got to do this to this person now because that's what I was brought up with. But like you said, the generations change. I think it's more so just paying your dues, like doing ring crew, doing camera work or refereeing, like, has really changed and like made a step up from where it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, just no stiffing people in the ring. Please don't do that.
well, but that's the thing, mate. If you have two guys that start shooting on each other in the ring, and one of them knocks out the other one, and that's the first match, one punch knockout.
Yeah,
the whole show is fucked.
You've ruined it. You've ruined it. Like, you're there to put on a show, regardless if you don't like each other or not. Keep each other safe. Do the moves. Put on the show. Like, and you go backstage and like this part. Like, you don't have to like each other, but you do have to keep each other safe. Don't go out there to purposely hurt someone. Like, never do that, because you're just going to ruin the show.
Well, and yeah, exactly. I mean, like, because then how are other guys going to be able to sell a punch? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, hang on, this guy just got knocked out. Like, you know what I mean?
How are you supposed to follow?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you? That's the craziest thing with it, you know. So it's, you know, I'm glad that in a way that the wrestling scene here, at least, is a very positive place for a lot of people coming through and nurturing, from what it sounds like too.
It's so good, man. Like, honestly, from what the stories I've been told, and to now be in this generation, I am really grateful to be in this circumstance rather than back then.
Oh, mate. Oh, completely, dude. You know, and as far as like your career goes, like, when you came in, did you have an idea for a gimmick that you wanted to do? Like, did you have a preconceived idea? Were you just like, okay, yep, this is what I'm given, let's do it?
Okay, so I didn't have a gimmick, so to say. I did have, like, appearance-wise, like, I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan, like, big Hardy Boys fan. So I was like, I want to do face paint, I want to do like the armbands, I want to do the whole high flying stuff. And then when I was pitching all these ideas, the promoter who was booking me at the time, he was like, nah, the only way you can be on this show is wear a mask and do this from there. And so I had to make do what I was given. Like it sucked because I had to make something out of something I didn't want. Like I really wanted to have the creative aspect in wrestling. That's all I saw wrestling as, like a creative outlet. Like I wanted to do what I wanted. I wanted to be who I wanted to be. I wanted to be myself rather than, oh, here you go, we're giving this to you. Because
Mm.
everything about Kid Valiant was given. The name, the appearance, everything. I had to make do and I had to make a brand for myself. And like it was the hardest thing I had to do. Yes, it worked. 100% it worked. And like I wouldn't be as over as I would be. And like I've grown to realize that now. Without the mask, I wouldn't be on this level that I am on. And I can hate on the mask as much as I want, but I'm so thankful for it. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm getting older. I really want to have some sort of control over my character. I want some sort of control over what I want to do in the ring. Like it sucked getting given the mask, 100%. Like I said earlier, like every show backstage, can I take the mask off? No. Can I get rid of it? No, Kobe, you're not ready. And to now be at the point where I'm unmasked, it's like, holy shit, I now got the freedom to be who I want and do what I want. And like, man, honestly, Kid Valiant was the hardest thing I've ever worked on. In all honesty.
Well, that's the thing, man. Now you have an opportunity to really put that creativeness to work. You know what I mean? And now, 2 years worth of experience in the business from starting training and doing shows and traveling interstate and doing other shows and bigger shows and gradually going. You're going to be. I think you'll surprise yourself how much you've really picked up along the way, and that how all this character is going to evolve.
Mm.
I think that your style as well, like seeing how you wrestled was just, I said I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great, but I think that your style as it evolves as well as you get older, as you develop as well as a performer, the things that you're going to pick up along the way, you're going to be truly amazing.
I appreciate that, man. Like next year, I'm just gonna learn as much as I can, grow as much as I can as a person, and like I was gonna debut with a new character straight away, and then I had a chat with Callum Butcher, and it was like, no, let's develop it over time, and I completely agreed. I was like, why get rid of one character just to come back with another one? Like the fans aren't gonna care. You got to
Yeah,
gradually build upon that, and like being told that, and then like you said, wrestling interstate and just learning off more people and wrestling the more and more new people, I'm really gonna change. I'm really gonna work on my moveset. I'm gonna learn more things. I'm gonna jot more ideas down. Like in wrestling, you always learn, and that's what I'm very much looking forward to, especially with the mask being off. Just learning and willing to learn. I'm ready for it.
oh, dude, that's great. And as far as the new character goes, what can you tell us as far as what we can start to see expecting, like the changes from Kid Valiant, besides
Um,
obviously without the mask?
yeah, expect the video to be dropped very soon on Instagram. Because as you all know, I was called the psychedelic. So the trip is over. Like everything you saw, the psychedelic, was it in my head or was it not in my head? You'll never know. So you'll see a lot of character development throughout next year. You'll see a lot more techie stuff, a lot more smart artistry, Gen Z sort of thing.
Hmm.
So that's all. That's all I can say as of right now because I'm still working out some bits and pieces. But I'm hoping people will enjoy this because I was working on this character with my dad, and I feel like it can really push some boundaries that people are afraid to do.
Dude, that's great.
I'm sorry,
And that's
Kane.
sorry.
I'm sorry, Kane. Sorry.
Oh, dude, look, I think if you can come out and do something different and something unique that people haven't seen before, and do it in a way, or even put your twist on something, um, you know, there's always that personalized thing that you can do to it. I think no matter what the gimmick is, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that you've actually got planned. But for this year, like for 2021, it's kind of been like a bit of a bust year as far as on again, off again shows.
Yeah.
It's coming into 2022, like what are your main goals for next year?
Wrestle everyone, wrestle as much as I can. Like I've lost so many bookings this year. Like it's heartbreaking. So I'm hoping to really wrestle every week and wrestle. I wrestled in Sydney. I want to wrestle in Queensland. I want to wrestle in the Northern Territory. I want to wrestle Adelaide, Tasmania. Like I want to do all these things, but like I got to take it one step at a time. I'm hoping I can. I want to wrestle as much as I can, as frequently as I can. Really get my name out there.
Yeah.
Considering all like the on and off season this year, and like really get the passion a lot back, because like I lost a lot of passion this year. Like with the constant on and off, I was like, maybe I should just hang it up. Like I'm done. But
You're
with
at that point?
I was at that point because I was like, we don't know if we're gonna come back. Like, and like all this talk and just drama just heating up because of lockdowns. I was like, this. I don't want to go back to this, but like when everything came back, I was like, switch on. So next year it's gonna really open my eyes. I'm really trying to make it my year. I'm trying to develop bigger. I'm trying to just grow. So next year, look out, because I am going to take over.
And that's the thing, man. You know, it's, you know, by developing and growing, getting that character to the next level. And I think that, you know, having that mentality, you know, coming out of lockdown, you could have gone the other way, man, and just been like, you know what, fuck this. I don't want to do it.
The amount of times I've talked about quitting wrestling during lockdown is like infinite. I was like, there's going to be barely anyone wanting to go to shows, you know, and like we don't know if shows are going to come back, because like we were still at the stage where this lockdown, it could have dragged on a lot longer. Like I thought shows were done for the year when the last lockdown hit. I was like, all right, the shows are done for the year. I don't have much plan. All this story, all this, everything about me is going to be forgotten. So to now have everything open up and to be wrestle interstate, which I never thought I was going to do this year, like really reignited the passion back. And I was like, you know what, I'm all here for it. I'm here to show everyone that I still want this. I still want to wrestle, even though all the setbacks and all the overthinking and just like the anxiety. No, I'm here to take over. I'm really here to show everyone that I still want to wrestle, and everyone's here for it. And I'm very grateful for all the support.
You've mentioned anxiety a couple of times in the show here. Is that something that you've had a struggle with? Is that something you feel comfortable to talk about?
So more so lately than ever, especially this year, just anxiety attacks, like random ones, and like I don't know where they came from. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just like, when I got injured, actually recently, 3 weeks before I went to FWA, I suffered a concussion, and I went backstage forgetting everything, and the paramedic on the scene reckoned the concussion and everything made me freak out and have an anxiety attack. That's why everything seemed a lot worse than what it was. And like I said, the anxiety attack at DMDU when Joel actually called me out, like I was ready for it. If you were to get the raw footage, you would see me storm backstage to get my gear on. But when I had everyone crowd me and on top of me, I just panic mode. Like I broke down. Like I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I called up Rochelle Roke, who I always do after every match, and I was like, look, I can't do this. And like I've never felt so bad about myself. Like I felt like I let so many people down. But the amount of support I got on like online and like personal life, like it was overwhelming, and like I cannot appreciate that enough.
Yeah. And was it like the thought of the death match that overwhelmed you, or just like everyone on top of you? Like
the death match didn't scare me because I want to do one. Like I really do. Like it's something I want to do, and like I feel comfortable doing it with Joel. I really do. So I was there. I was ready for it. Went up to Mitchell. I was like, grab my phone, grab everything out of my pocket now because I'm going to get changed. But having everyone surround me on the little booth that I was in and like yelling at me, like, yo, you gotta fucking hurry up, you gotta get this on and that on. Like something in my mind just snapped. I was like, I can't do it no more. And I can't thank Joel enough for being very supportive about it. Like he actually came up to me after the match, hugged me. He was like, you've done nothing wrong. You weren't in the headspace for it. And like you would have got hurt or I would have got hurt. And like we're more proud of you now than what we would have been. And you went out there in that headspace. So I can't thank them enough for that.
Yeah. And you know what, Joel has discussed that with me before, not obviously what happened with you, but he discussed like, you know, that being in death matches and not being in the right headspace for it. And, you know, like something happening and, you know, he being in that situation, having someone freak out on him and Joel saying, you know, I took the run of the punishment because I couldn't do it to him. You know what I mean? He couldn't take it. But he said I did what I could do to have a decent match, and then it was done. But it doesn't surprise me the supportiveness from the guys over there because they are amazing. I think they're truly beautiful people, and I think as well, I even Joel saying that, I completely agree with him that if you'd gone out there, you would have just hurt yourself really badly or him really badly. So I think you actually had the maturity to realize that you weren't in the right headspace, and especially if someone's so young to have that maturity when they're in that headspace, because I think a lot of people would just go, okay, fuck it, I'll just go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm devastated I couldn't do it. I really don't. Like I wanted to do it for the longest time. I kept saying to Joel, like, I want to do this. I want to do a death match one day. And like, it just sucks that opportunity I missed. But there's plenty of opportunities next year. And like, when they present themselves, of course I'm going to take it. Like, I need to make up for it.
Dude, the opportunities will always come, and I think you seem to be like a real stand-up guy that I don't think that there's ever going to be an issue where people wouldn't give you that opportunity. So like I said, man, you made the right call for yourself at the time. Like you definitely shouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah, when I look at it, when I reflect on it, like I said, I can't English. Sorry, I'm devastated, but I'm devastated that it didn't happen. But at the same time, for the show's sake and just for everyone's health and safety, I'm glad I didn't go out there. Like, because I could have got hurt, Joel could have got hurt, or like anything could have fucked up. And like, I don't want fans knowing, oh, it's Kid Valiant. He went out there in the wrong headspace and fucked up a death match. I don't want that reputation. And I had the right people there with me, and like they really calmed me down. So I'm really, really appreciative. And like every time I reflect on it, I'm like, I did the right thing.
And with that as well, I think you just need to know that I think whatever it is that you're going through, that this industry is supporting people
100%
that are going through anything. And I think that the Australian wrestling scene is one of the most supportive sporting, entertainment, whatever you want to call it, industries that they really care about everyone involved in it, from the person setting up the ring to the main event and everyone close and in between. You know what I'm saying? So I think that those things we're really going to see develop. And plus, man, you're a young guy, 18 years of age, dude. You've got a long career ahead of you.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Come on, man. You do though, dude. Like wherever you want to take the wrestling, if you can not take put your body at risk too much, you can have a very long career.
Oh well, I just got to smarten up and not do dumb shit that I always do, because I make a lot of people worry about me, but I'm okay.
Oh, I'm sure you are, dude. I'm sure you are. But do you feel like yourself, like for you getting into wrestling, was WWE always a dream? Like, is that where you want to go, or is that sort of like on a radar where you want to go, or are you just sort of taking it by year?
Growing up, I was always like a WWE kid. Like, I've always like WWE's a dream, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, championships. But now, growing older, especially like hitting 13 and actually learning more about the indie scenes, learning like Ring of Honor, PWG, and all these other indie promotions, I'm like, I can really make something out of this. Like, I can be a name, but like I don't have to be signed to a major promotion. And now with having like AEW here and like New Japan, just everything, like I have so many options of where I can go one day. Like, as of right now, it's New Japan. Like Best of the Super Juniors, like that's a place I've always wanted to go to Japan. Like I've always said from a young age, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to wrestle this person. And so now, like, saying like if I put the hard work in, it could be possible. So WWE right now is a no. But if they were to offer me a contract tomorrow, I'll be dumb to say no.
Yeah,
I would be dumb. Like, they offer me a contract, I'm like, yep, sign. I'm off. But as of right now, it's not the product for me. It's not a place where I want to be. Considering like all these budget cuts and just everything in general, like I haven't watched a WWE show since SummerSlam. Like I only watch the major pay-per-views. I don't follow their weekly stuff. Like I'm not entertained by them. Like places like New Japan and AEW and like all these other indie promotions is like place where I want to grow as. So I want to make a name for myself before I go and sign with WWE, let's say.
Yeah. I find I watch more indie wrestling than anything else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I watch a lot of like some old stuff here and there, but like the new stuff on a weekly basis, I find it hard to watch. I do watch it, but it's more like
flick through.
Okay. Oh, that happened. All right, cool. You know what I mean? Well, I'm like scrolling through Twitter or Facebook or some shit, you know. But you know, I completely get it, and I think you know you're seeing those other promotions like New Japan and you know PWG, AEW give a different product and give a different outlook to what's happening over there. So, you know, and it gives it a bit more interest. And I think now as well in professional wrestling, you're seeing more guys that are athletes and athletically gifted and on those levels. So they're not sort of, you know, guys that you look at over the years that sort of drink all night and get on the gimmicks and drugs and shit like that. So, but you know, as far as like, you know, going over there, like what's your plan to travel internationally when you can? Like, is that something you want to go and do? Go over to like the UK, the US and work the indies?
So I've been in talks with a company in Singapore. I'm hoping I can get there next year. Shows aren't back yet, but as soon as like everything's on the roll, I'm going to message them and be like, hey, I'll come up. I'm willing to do anything. And they said, give us 6 months notice and you're booked. And like, I can give 6 months whenever it happens. Next year, I'm hopefully doing something in the States. Here's hoping. I might be doing like a summer camp job up there, and then afterwards I get a month's break, like to work wherever I want. So I'm hoping I can do something. Big goal for me next year is GCW.
Yeah, nice.
But that can really like happen anytime, and like I'm okay. I'm content with that. But there is plans for international travel. Like I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that happen. But as of right now, like in case COVID and everything, I'm thinking more interstate rather than international as a whole. Like, yes, there's plans, but I got to think logically because you never know what could happen.
Oh, absolutely, man. But look, it is getting close to that time, guys. It is time for 60 seconds with Piers. How this is going to work, I'm going to fire a bunch of questions at my guest, Mr. Kid Valiant, and he has 60 seconds to answer as many as he possibly can. Are you ready to get this game started?
Ready.
Okay, time starts now. Would you rather appear in Home and Away or Neighbours?
Neither. I don't like both.
The ability to read minds or move things with your mind?
Read minds.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
How many x-rays have you had?
3.
If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Flippy, dumbass, hopeless romantic.
What would your autobiography be called?
Valiant, a story of a high-flying kid.
You're auditioning for Australian Idol. What song do you sing?
Hyper.
Which celebrity would play you in a movie about your life?
Ryan Reynolds.
In 5 minutes, you were being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you?
My phone and my laptop.
There you go. That is 60 seconds with Piers. Kid Valiant sat there. He's done the deal there. But look, mate, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. And I definitely want to get you on for a part 2 somewhere down the line if we can hook that up. But, you know, guys, thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Make sure you keep an eye out for all of our shows wherever you are finding us. Like, share, subscribe. If you are listening to us on any podcast platform, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a 5-star rating. Also, guys, special shout out to our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleeves.com. Use promo code MWAPOD on both to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, Kid Valiant, where can everyone find you on social media? Where can people buy you some of your merch?
Oh, okay. I got plenty of shirts left over. So if you would like a shirt, please hit me up on Instagram at kid.valiantpw. On Twitter, I'm at thatvaliantkid. And on Facebook, I am Kid Valiant Professional Wrestler. And I got a wrestler merch I think I still have uploaded. It's Kid Valiant. So, yeah.
There you go, guys. Well, look, make sure that you go over and check out, make sure you follow and buy some merch of Kid Valiant. And guys, until next time, we'll see you again very, very soon. But we'll see you then. Anyway, guys, take care and peace.